In the UK, we produce about 330 million tonnes of waste a year. As a nation, we produce more waste per head of population than many of our European neighbours. With diminishing facilities for the direct disposal of waste and increasing government targets for recycling, we need to improve the way we manage our waste. Holmen Recycle and Nordic Recycling are leading the way with the provision of new facilities that will transform the way we manage our waste in the future. This is Tilbury in Essex, where a new recycling plant offers a major step forward in the provision of recycling services to both local authorities and commercial businesses alike. This Material Recovery Facility, or MRF as it's more widely known, is regarded as being one of the most technologically advanced of its type, providing marketable materials of the highest quality. The MRF can receive mixed dry recyclable materials, that's newspaper, magazines, junk mail, cardboard, plastic bottles, steel and aluminium cans and glass from households and businesses, which are then, through a series of automated screens, efficiently sorted back into their individual material streams ready to be recycled. Holmen Recycle has developed this £5 million MRF on a design, build and operate contract with Nordic Recycling, one of the UK's leading recycling companies. The MRF has been designed to process 25 tonnes of mixed dry recyclable materials per hour, which means that as much as 100,000 tonnes can be processed using a two-shift operation each year. Every day, up to 400 tonnes of clean, dry, recyclable waste arrives at the plant and starts a remarkable journey that transforms it from everyday waste into a valuable, clean, environmentally friendly resource. The state-of-the-art separation equipment, which was sourced, manufactured and installed by Ken Mills Engineering of Rochdale, comprises a series of automatic screens and manual processes that help to segregate the individual material streams by size, weight or shape. On arrival in the reception hall, a loading shovel pushes any loose dry recyclables onto this in-feed conveyor. While any recyclables delivered in plastic bags go through the automatic bag splitter. This conveyor takes all of the waste to the pre-sort cabin. This is the first port of call for the removal of any large contaminants and waste that cannot be automatically recycled. Any material that isn't suitable for recycling falls directly onto a conveyor and is then taken away for disposal or energy recovery elsewhere. The recyclable waste now moves on to a cardboard screen that starts the automatic sorting process. This screen comprises of 3 inclined decks of rotating metal discs. The closely coupled discs in the first deck break down any glass within the mixed materials, enabling it to fall through onto a conveyor below. This delivers the glass to a glass crusher to produce a consistent size of cullet, which is then deposited into a glass collection skip ready for dispatch to the specialist glass processors for manufacturing back into glass products. Any shredded paper or light material that might contaminate the glass stream is removed by an air cyclone system. Back to the cardboard screen, any large cardboard is automatically carried over all 3 decks of the screen to a conveyor that takes it the length of the plant, through the final inspection cabin to the cardboard storage bay prior to baling and dispatch to mills for manufacturing into new boxes and packaging material. Meanwhile, the rest of the waste passes through the wider spaced discs of the second and third decks onto a separate conveyor that takes it to the main pre-inspection cabin. Here, trained staff carefully monitor the material to ensure that any general waste contaminants are removed prior to entry into the automated part of the process. Plastic film, any remaining cardboard and large telephone directories and catalogues are all manually removed at this stage and placed down chutes onto conveyors to ensure their recovery from the mixed materials in the most efficient way possible. The rest of the waste passes through to the 2-deck news screen. Rotating steel and rubber discs enable the automatic separation of any larger fraction, higher value newsprint and magazines from smaller paper material and 3-dimensional objects like bottles and cans. It's another way of ensuring the right materials go to the right places for the most efficient recycling. While the newspapers and magazines go direct for baling via the final inspection cabin, the remaining materials, mainly smaller paper, plastic bottles, and aluminium and steel cans, are carried to the V-screen. The V-screen again utilises rotating disc technology to separate 2-dimensional objects, any remaining newspaper and magazines, together with smaller fraction mixed paper, from 3-dimensional objects, bottles and cans. The paper is carried by conveyor to the accelerator screen for a further grading process. Larger, high-quality paper is mechanically scalped off and separated from the smaller, low-value paper material. Once separated, these streams go to the final sort cabin for another visual inspection before baling. Back to the V-screen. Any 3-dimensional materials that are passed through the valley of the V-screen drop onto the conveyor and then pass over an air drum separator. This removes any remaining paper through a suction process, leaving just bottles and cans to enter the final sort cabin. Of course, any paper removed through this process is delivered back into the relevant area of the plant to maximise the recovery and minimise process waste. Having passed through the final inspection cabin, an overband magnet removes the steel cans which drop directly onto a baler below. Bales are then transported to processors who recycle them into new steel products. An eddy current separator then removes any aluminium cans from plastic bottles. After passing back through the final sort cabin, the plastic bottles move on through a perforator flattener prior to baling. After baling, the plastic bottles are then sent off to a specialist processor who uses the material for a huge range of products, from clothing to insulation to garden furniture. The remaining aluminium cans get one final inspection before dropping down to a baler positioned below the final sort cabin. These cans are recycled into new aluminium cans. The final process for all separated paper and cardboard grades is to be fed into the large MacPress baler to make it easier to handle for transportation. All the material which enters the plant as waste leaves as valuable raw materials designed to be recycled and reused. Previously, much of this would have been buried or burnt. Holmen expect to gain around 50,000 tonnes of used newspapers, magazines, junk mails and directories every year. Thanks to recycling through the Tilbury MRF, this is a natural extension to the provision of recycling services already provided to local authorities by Holmen Recycle within the UK. All of this recovered paper is destined to be taken by a ship to one of the many paper mills operated by Holmen Paper in Spain and Sweden. Currently, Holmen recovers approximately 200,000 tonnes of paper each year within the UK for manufacture into new newsprint. The ships that take the recovered paper are also used to deliver approximately 300,000 tonnes of new newsprint into the UK each year for distribution to a large number of Holmen customers for the production of newspapers and high-quality magazines. Paper recovered at the Tilbury MRF will be used to expand and complement the existing recycling infrastructure. Holmen Recycle and Nordic Recycling have together developed a highly efficient and effective recycling facility that can be replicated in other areas of the UK where there's demand. What was once rubbish is being recycled cleanly, efficiently and economically. A groundbreaking facility serving local authorities, local communities and commercial businesses alike. This is the future today.